I must have missed it. That must have been it. When was the last time you picked anyone up from the airport?
It's been a while.
I completely forgot how to do it. Oh yeah, there he is.
Into the light, walking in the world, living in the word, walking in the word of Christ. Spirit feed the soul, make a body go.
Cults are not necessarily bad. Cult means cultivate. When we all get together and dig up a field and plant and take care of it together, we cultivate and we all have more food, okay? The only problem is usually a leader pops out of that and you give up your free will to the leader. Now you got a problem.
For years, we had been listening to Dave Bixby's music. It had been circulating the internet, popping up in music blogs, underground forums, and YouTube videos devoted to his songs. In college, all the music freaks knew about Bixby and would be happy to smoke a joint with you and fade into the waves of melancholy and transcendence issuing from his only known album, Ode to Quetzalcoatl. The musician was a legend. His story existed in whispers, faint trickles of a myth. He was a cult leader. He had killed himself after taking too much acid. He had disappeared into the forests of Europe to live with the gnomes and study wizardry, leaving only this melancholy album as evidence of his earthly existence. The album became a collector's item online, original pressings selling for as much as $2,000 a piece. And still, Dave Bixby the singer remained cloaked in fog, an echo from the dark side of the 1960s. In 2005, a journalist named Matt V. Prokak, convinced that the man with the sad and distant voice was alive somewhere, managed to track him down to Arizona, where Bixby was working as a Civil War reenactor and performing covers in local bars and lounges. This discovery led to wide demand for Bixby to come on tour and perform for his hopeful fans across the country. After a few false starts, we arranged for Bixby to tour his home state of Michigan, where we could film him and hopefully find some answers. Where did this album come from? Why did he disappear after making the record? And why was he so sad?
Waiting for the rain to come, waiting for the rain.
This is my Elvis mic. Okay, you got a camera? Let's get a picture of him and my... Okay. Then there. Yeah. Okay. Did you get that? Yeah, there you go. What's your name again? Justin. Justin. I'm Justin, David, Justin. Justin's going to do some original stuff.
Never dreamt beside, never dreaming beside. I wanna be the one that almost kills you. I wanna die in all your dreams.
I want to share this, that I had no idea that this album started gaining in popularity. I really didn't. And when it was brought to my attention, I didn't believe it. I had to go on the internet to see for myself. And when I saw all these David Bixby blogs that other people were doing, I'm going, man, they're ripping me off, you know, they're ripping me off, you know. But no, they're doing me a favor. They're doing what I couldn't, and that's to get it out there, because it meant something.
I first heard about Dave Bixby. I had my winter break and I went back home and I just started listening to him on the internet. But I was also kind of in a weird place in my life. I was having like sleep paralysis for like the last 3 months, like every night, and so I come across this album. I felt a connection to it. As I'm researching more, I start to realize that this album was made to bring in people to his cult that he's promoting, the group. So I don't know, I just can't believe that I fell for that. And it made me understand how other people were falling for this cult as well.
So you are lost, my friend, trying to hide your fear. He will make us fishers of men. He's been doing it for 2,000 years. His love is my soul, touch my heart, so I would know the powers I've been given. Well, I'll be. Who's this guy? Well, Fritz. Hey. How you doing?
Had a relative that came from Los Angeles to visit, and I think it was the summer of '66 that he turned all of us onto that devil weed, and
Oh, yeah.
then it progressed from there. His parents liked me so much that they'd leave for a spring vacation. They'd go to Florida, and they'd have me stay with him for a week so he wouldn't be alone. Well, that was a mistake because we didn't go to school all week.
Yeah.
It was just a party the whole time.
I found LSD fascinating, and so I did probably more journeys than I should. I never really gave myself a chance to decompress, and I had a flame out. Not a very pleasant experience. I couldn't recognize my family from time to time and my friends, and I just quit all drugs, and still I didn't get better. And the idea of not being alive was almost appealing.
This is when Bixby met Don Degraff, a lay priest who claimed to have had an intense spiritual revelation. Their friendship offered Dave solace against the isolation and fear he experienced after burning out on LSD, and encouraged Dave to pursue his own spiritual journey. With some friends, they began holding prayer meetings in the basement of this Grand Rapids church. And soon, with Degraff's charisma as a speaker and Dave's music to draw kids in, a following grew. They called themselves The Group. Don Degraff paid for Bixby to cut a record. They recorded Ode to Quetzalcoatl in Degraff's living room, printed 500 copies, and used it as promotional material for the group.
For being sort of drug-related, I'm into Jesus record of that time, it's got to be like one of the best of its kind.
He handed me this album kind of like that, and he said, "Here, listen to this, and maybe it'll help you figure out where I am and where you should be," to me, kind of along those lines. And at that point I said, I mean, what's the matter with our lives right now? I mean, we're having fun, aren't we?
There was just something that resonated so deep, and I loved David's music. Everybody was so much friendlier. They were more my age, and it's more how God is real, real in your life.
I saw this con artist on stage with David and a couple other individuals quoting scripture and playing music and spouting his religion, and I turn around and look, and I just see nothing but a sea of adolescents with their eyes glazed over, being led to a kind of an emotional slaughter, as it were. It was kind of depressing.
Yeah.
And then
my group is a direct group, but we're working together to create Amway just for purpose.
He opened up a lot of experiences for people that they wouldn't have. People would write down what their fears were, and then we'd come up with an event where you could face those. I'm afraid of the dark, or I'm afraid of the water. the survival stuff, it was amazing how good women became in a survival situation as far as securing food. Women were actually better than men at hunting.
It's a goodbye to profit to return. Temples of stone stand all alone, moving through the stream of time, quiet and still, awaiting his will. Profit to return.
I was talking to a wall when I'd say anything about it, when I'd lay it out for them and say, who makes the money? Where does the money go? What's the benefit from this? What is, and then there were like rules of celibacy with the members, I think, while the prophet was having his way with his harem.
Yeah.
I mean, there were nude prayer meetings, and I'd hear all this stuff and think, what happened to the independent thinking individual that was not naive when we grew up?
Yeah.
Never.
It was a place to play the music and get acknowledgement for the music. And where I lost it was now people were looking at me like I was somebody special and I was somebody spiritual. And my pride jumped on that.
By the end of the 60s, the group was attracting hundreds of young people to its meetings. Degraff, who now went by the title Sir, had decreed that all group members were to become salespeople for Amway, short for American Way, a beauty supply and cleaning product company that functions much like a pyramid scheme.
For me, he said that Amway was their number one priority, and I did not really go along with that.
That was his number one priority. He's the one that got the money. Mm-hmm. Parents of kids wanted to sue him and this and that. He had to get out of town because of the trouble he was in. He was messing around with the women. He had a lot of little harem going on, and they were starting to talk. He couldn't keep that under wraps, and I ignored that. I didn't want to know that because knowing me, I'd have to do something about it. And doing something about it meant I'm out. I don't have a family anymore. And that's the hook. He gave me some advice. Sleep with them once or twice and then go on. I want a relationship, asshole. That's your gig,
And it did devastate a lot of people who committed suicide.
Yeah, there were some suicides. To leave the group meant you left God. So that you got guilt, and we're all programmed to go to and through hell if you leave the group.
I've just seen the faces of the people that I love.
I mean, I understand we asked you to play these songs, and a lot of people have because they like them. But how can you bring yourself to play them after all that's happened?
And I was looking at them as if somebody else wrote them. And I looked at them as if, what are these people getting out of this?
So without delaying this performance any longer, here's David Bixby.
Okay, is everybody here? Okay, who's not? Okay, just hang on, you'll be here in a minute. Life used to be good. Now look what I've done. I've ruined my
most people in this room could agree there's something that's really engaging about it. It really draws you in and it kind of opens you up as you listen to it. Is that the function that it had in the group?
Yeah.
Look at me, the way I used to be, caught up in worldly ways, lost so many days from growing. He came to me, said he'd make me free, said he died for me, and that he loved me.
Finally, fed up with the deception and egomania of his former friend, Dave Bixby left the group, abandoning his new family, his built-in audience, and all of the music associated with those days.
The time has come when 666 will soon be bound for 1,000 years. 666 will soon be bound for 1,000 years.
Degraff ended up in Vegas with a small harem of women followers. After this, he disappeared, and to this day no one knows where he is, or even if he is.
So what I was getting out of it was a family, a peer group, and common beliefs. Because I went through such loneliness, I was afraid of that. So my addiction to that. But lonely is where you find your creator. You need that loneliness. And how many times we stay in unhealthy relationships because we're afraid of that. I get to the point where, okay, truth and loneliness walk together. If you want one, you better accept the other.
There's something deep inside all of us that is quite remarkable. And I'm just telling you that. You need to discover it for yourself. And we'll be making mistakes all our life. Put it this way, when they shoot somebody, an astronaut to the moon, they don't aim and launch. It's corrective all the way. Corrective. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Angel gets its wings. The sun in the morning comes over the hill and kisses the tall grass beside me. We are so young at heart.
I'm here, they're not. The group's dead, it's over with. Why am I coming back? I mean, you know, this is a question that I'm asking. I'm thinking, are you involved here?
We get our strength in the daytime by the sun's golden rays.
Now when I look at the camera, I see you. Now the camera is friendly.
I feel like doors are opening I'm not just dreaming about the future. I actually see the future happening based on this little tour. You know, it's kind of a dream come true for me. And after so many years of doing this, I feel like I'm back in the saddle again.